Doctors of Reddit, what is the weirdest thing a patient wouldn't admit? That they can't afford their meds. Yep, America. It's so weird. We can for sure tell you where and taking them. It's put your life in serious danger, and if you don't fess up it could kick you off the transplant list for non-compliance. It's such a taboo I guess to say yep, or you had to pick lights or meds, food or meds, gas or meds. It sounds so simple doc, I just couldn't afford that and food, but it takes some work sometimes to get people to just tell us. Upvoting because this is so tragic and people need to understand this reality. The US is in a healthcare crisis, and anytime we try to address it, the GOP cries socialism and things just keep getting worse. I'm really happy you care. I had a psychiatrist that prescribed me a drug I couldn't afford. I came back and told him after I got the price from the pharmacy and he refused to try a cheaper drug saying I definitely needed that one. It was when a bill if I was brand new. I was so embarrassed and wouldn't go back to him or any other doc for a long time, opting instead to go unmedicated. I have a great doctor now and guess what? The cheaper drugs actually do work. When was their last meal? They think they can fool their PET scan, end up losing money, time and over irradiated. I feel your frustration to my soul. Sir, have you eaten this morning? Nope. Not since before midnight. Meanwhile I'm looking at a sliver of contracted gallbladder. Are you sure? Because I would hate for this test to come back incorrect and you end up meeting with a surgeon when you don't need to. I might have had a couple of waffles and eggs. I'm a gastroenterologist. I do upper endoscopies all the time. Somehow, there are people out there who think they can get away lying about whether they've eaten since midnight before a procedure that will literally stick a camera into their stomach. Now, some people have gastroparesis and old food residue will be present in the stomach, but I've literally seen fresh, chewed but identifiable bacon and eggs hanging out in the stomach. In addition to probably making it a lot harder to diagnose whatever we were doing the endoscopy for, it's also a huge risk for aspiration events, which can be lethal. One time one of my patients wouldn't admit that he drank a bunch of paint at a paint picnic party. He was totally covered in paint, and he had all the symptoms of drinking paint, but he wouldn't admit to me that he was at a paint picnic party. I think he was ashamed of what he had done. So looking at your comments, it seems you are a doctor, own a small business, work at a popular sandwich shop, you're a librarian part-time, you used to work at a gummy bear factory and a burrito shop, and your mom is your sister. Also you bright lights is named Jim, was a maid of honor, has a wife which is his sister, is one of the top ranked beach volleyball players in the country, used to be one of the top furniture salesmen in his region, and is 7 feet 6. I'm too lazy to keep scrolling, but it's incredible how he can come up with something crazy in each different comment. Wow. Hope more people see this. Comment history is quite the ride. What exactly is a paint picnic party? Had a patient in hospital, I forget what for. The point is that he disappeared for a few hours. When he came back he was tachycardic to 160 BPM, massive pupils, couldn't sit still. We asked him what he'd taken while he was out. Nothing, he swears. He went to the pub and just drank lemonade. Okay, we say, we're gonna take some blood and find out what you've taken. He then pipes up say the friends he was with would think it was funny to spike his drink. What? We asked. Did he think they might have spiked his drink with speed? He says. What do you know? Bloods confirmed that he had taken speed, but he insists he didn't take it. His drink was spiked. Ah, the old speedy beer slipperoo. All my friends play this trick on each. It's hilarious. I imagine a bunch of guys just sitting in a circle, jittering like crazy, coked out eyes, each holding a spiked bear that they don't know how to read. I've been taught the trick of handing a paper upside down to them to see if they can read. It's good to know if they don't, so you can make extra sure they have a full understanding of their instructions instead of saying to read the details on the sheet. I've accompanied a blind friend to medical appointments a few times, and doctors are always giving her instructions in writing without reading the material to her. Wow. That's just poor care. Do they also print it quite large for her to read? I work with several blind PTS. I've asked my company to pay for braille versions of our material for those that could use it. I love my company because if it's best for the or they agree to it. That's a good idea. I usually talk to my PTS over the phone, and it can be difficult to determine. I've never once had anyone admitted though. I volunteer at an prisoner shoved a ballpoint pen up his urethra to get out of being stabbed. Ike insisted he had no idea how it got there. We spent hours deliberating how to get it out, and he just reaches down, still in his handcuffs, and pulls it out himself. Prison nurse here. We see this frequently. Saw one guy who actually got stabbed, and he was so oddly relaxed about the whole thing. Making jokes, normal BP, heart rate only like 80. Prison must be insane. Have you seen the movie Chopper? Hilarious scene when his friend in prison stabs him several times, and Chopper's just like, "Oh mate, what did ya do that for?" Bit early for kung fu, isn't it, Jimmy? Probably not his first stabbing, or his 10th. I'm vet student. Many clients like to say I don't overfeed my dog cat. That's just their normal size. When their pet looks like a watermelon. I bring my skinny cat along with my fat cat to prove it's not me making him fat. It never works. Are you sure the fat cat isn't stealing the other's food while you're not looking? This is actually super common. Usually fixable with dedicated meal times in separate parts of the kitchen. My friend's family fixed this by putting the smaller cat's food on a ledge that the fat cat couldn't jump up to, but then when the cat lost enough weight to jump up on the ledge, it just made him stronger and harder to feed the two separately. Came back from my workout and suddenly my most upvoted comment is about my friend's morbidly obese cat. I can literally smell the smoke on your clothes and breath, see the nicotine stains on your fingers, and you're trying to tell me you quit smoking 10 years ago. During my peds rotation, parents would often say I don't smoke in front of the kids, but when your kid's hair smells like smoke. Work in a cardiac cath lab. I hear the "oh, I'm not smoking anymore" all the time. I want to say, well then why do you smell like you have been rolling around in an ashtray? Nicotine withdrawal is pretty stressing. It sure felt like 10 years, even if it was only 10 minutes. They were almost 60 years old and taking a drug to make them lactate so their husband could pump them as it would help their fibromyalgia. Took a while for them to admit why they were taking it. I've thought about this for a bit and still don't understand. Why were they doing this? My guess would be a lactation fetish, or they have read too many mommy blogs about the miracle of breast milk and are actually trying to treat medical conditions with it. I'm sorry to break this to you, but some people find breast milk sexually thrilling. Had a patient refuse to admit he swallowed a pen, even though an x-ray showed the pen in his small bowel and we took the pen out during an emergency surgery. Are you sure he swallowed it? Swallowing it is literally the only way it would end up there. It wasn't lodged in his colon. If they got it out with emergency surgery, why couldn't it have been put in with emergency surgery? That ain't my small bowel. Every person on cops caught with drugs. How do you know which way it entered? There was a woman sent in by her family doctor for urinating some blood. We put a camera into her bladder with her awake, looking to exclude a tumor. We found her bladder full of citrus seeds pits. So many of them. When asked why she put them there, she said, "Well, I eat a lot of fruit and won't accept any responsibility for them being there. All the symptoms of pregnancy plus 2 positive pregnancy tests. There's 0% chance I can be pregnant. I'm not married, to be fair." The patient's mother was there and this was in a very conservative country. She ended up admitting she was pregnant when we separated her from the mom. Real late here, but I'm a nurse and we just had a patient mid-50s male strictly pooped in diapers. When asked why, he said, "So he can freeze them." Ends up he has a deep freezer in the garage full of poopy diapers. He also works for housekeeping in the hospital. A friend's mom wouldn't admit my friend had scoliosis. Does that count? Why can't she just give it to you straight? Right? No reason to get all bent out of shape. You weren't breathing. We gave you Narcan. You started breathing again, woke up, and then deny you used a narcotic. Yeah, alright. My sister talks about this couple, where the guy keeps getting pee-hole damage from sticking like aux cords and such in there. They were super honest about it, I guess. There's a few references to a recent buggy to can someone link that post to Fu asking for the buggy to post time to bleach my brain. I highly recommend Adam K's. This is going to hurt for lots of nasty object stories. The story of the kinder egg has to be the worst. Please tell me the doctor of the guy who did the tifo about eating live bugs all his life is on here. It's all I need right now. Moral of this thread. Don't lie to your doctor. You're only making the situation worse. How they really got a spider bite on their tongue. Hey fellow internet stalker. That they were eating live bugs as a tasty treat. I never jack off. How dare you, sir? I say, but the whole doctor patient thing